Calvin Magpie 24/7, and I hope you're all good. So, Newcastle make it 5 wins out of 5 with a very difficult but very satisfying 2-1 win over Brentford yesterday. And I said this yesterday on Twitter. Quick plug: if you don't follow on Twitter, please do so. One there every day. But yeah, I mentioned on Twitter. I says this is the best version of Newcastle you could possibly see. A team that's under pressure, a team that's struggling, not playing their best, and really under the cosh like they were in that first half, and they still managed to come out of it with a win in the end. And the Forest game was very similar as well, where everything went against her, where everything was just like there's so many hurdles in the way of Newcastle picking up anything from them games, and teams around would have capitulated, would have fell apart. Tottenham, if they had pressure like that, they would have fell to bits. Man United in the big games this season, barring obviously the cup final when they played us, um, they they've capitulated like a few times this season, in the big moments, and we just haven't showed signs that we're going to. And I think that's huge because obviously we're all talking about this top four battle now, but I think in the big moments we we show up as a team, whereas our rivals don't, and I think that's huge. Like to go and win yesterday after probably one of the worst first halves under Eddie Howe I've seen for sure. I mean, obviously they had a goal ruled out early on for Ivan Toney, very close offside call, um, but obviously it gets ruled out. Whether you think it's offside, I'm not sure, but splitting hairs, very similar to the Isak goal away at Anfield, where it's like, is there a little bit offside? Is there a little bit on? But it gets ruled out. But they get a penalty. Nick Pope saves it. First penalty Ivan Toney's missed. I think he had like 32 penalties scored in a row, which is a brilliant record, by the way. Um, and obviously Nick Pope saves it. It was a poor penalty, but you still have to save them, and that he did, because obviously he could have guessed went the wrong way and it'd be a goal, but obviously it takes another penalty to put Brentford in front. And let's talk about the penalty for a second, because I don't think it was. Like, it was very similar to the um Shea incident last week against Man United, where he runs across the defender. He takes a fall, takes a hit on the way down, and that wasn't even looked at by VAR. And this gets given as a penalty after it being looked at and looked at and looked at for several minutes, and it's just not what VAR was brought in for. Like, it's a fucking disgrace. It's it's literally killing the game. Like, it really is. And I don't necessarily think it's down to VAR, because you look at how it was used in the Euro Championships a couple of years ago, how it was used in the World Cup. It can be used efficiently, but you've got these referees who are just totally and utterly incompetent, and they don't have to answer to the calls by fans or calls by pundits or anything like that to explain the reasoning. They don't get fined as referees. They don't get any punishment for being shit at the job. Like, me or you, if I'm shit at my job, like, I'll get sacked. Do you know what I mean? If you're shit at your job, it's like it's like someone saying, if you're a builder, go and build a wall, and you use super glue instead of cement, and like, oh, it's all right, we'll just apologize to them and it'll all be fine. It's too fucking late, man. Like, you look at, it's not even a Newcastle problem; it's a widespread problem. You look at the Tottenham game, which is big in Newcastle's title race, and was a huge game for Brighton as well. Six decisions that, like, could have went to VAR and could have helped Brighton, but they went for Tottenham and against Tottenham, and then all you get is, oh, we're sorry, that we recognise that should have been should have been a penalty, or should have been this, it should have been that. It's too fucking late, man. You can't change anything. Is a referee going to personally come out and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake"? No. They hide behind this um the hide behind the referees association kind of thing. I think it's PG Mall or something. I don't know, but they hide behind it, and it's just it's baffling to me. It's mental. Like how many decisions they're fucking up every single week. And like I remember the season before VAR was brought into football, and the decisions that were happening every single week, and it's like we need VAR, we need VAR. This will stop when VAR comes in. It's got worse because the incompetent referees have become more incompetent because you've trusted these referees with fucking with this technology, and they don't know how to use it. They haven't got a fucking clue. There's decisions getting made wrong. There's wrong decisions being made with the technology every single week, and teams are just getting robbed out the fucking robbed out of points and robbed out of games because of it. It's come to something where you can't even celebrate a goal anymore. But in case there was a fucking offside play seven plays ago or something, or someone's pulled someone's shirt like 10 minutes before it happened. It's fucking ridiculous. Like how much like how far do you go? It's mental. For me, there's two solutions. You either change the personnel, you get rid of these shit referees in this country, like Sir Paul Tierney, the likes of the one that was refereeing yesterday. Most of them are pretty shit in this division, or most of them, 90% of them are incompetent as fuck, and they need out of this league because Neil Warnock summed it up perfectly, and he said this needing VAR at the time when Cardiff had a really bad decision go against them, which resulted in them getting relegated a couple of seasons back. And he said we need VAR because the officials need all the help they can get because it's the best Premier League's the best league in the world, but it has the worst officials. And we've got VAR in now, and we've had VAR, all the teething problems and whatever may be, a couple of seasons back, but we're a few years into VAR now, and you look at the issues. Goal line technology came in, and there's been one error with goal line technology since it came in. You'd be lucky if you only have one VAR problem a week. It's that bad. And you've got Howard Webb leading the charge with the referees and VAR. We're fucked. It won't get better because all you get's an apology. But I've went on a complete tangent. Meant to be reviewing the game. I've went on a fucking tangent about VAR. But there we go. Anyway, we're going to the second half, and obviously we got battered in the first half. It wasn't looking good, but Eddie had like it's mental to say, but like we had a plan B and it worked. Like how many years have we seen managers at this club where it's been like we don't have a plan B, we're fucked if plan A doesn't work. Some managers haven't even had a plan A at Newcastle. Steve Bruce certainly fucking didn't, did he? But we went two up top in the second half and it worked a fucking treat, didn't it? Isak and Wilson linking up, and it really worked well. Joelinton playing through the middle, with Bruno, they really took the game by the scruff of the neck. Um, Joelinton cuts in and sends their defender for a fucking like an ice cream or packet of Skittles, hot chocolate, coffee, maybe a Snickers, packet of M&Ms, fuck knows. But he was gone. He was Toro. Sent him into next week. And I think Joelinton didn't know what to do with it. He kind of got closer and closer towards goal, and he was like, "I don't think I can score from here, so I'll try and pass it across the goal." And Raya has stuck his leg out to stop it, and it's hit his leg and went in. Obviously, a massive bit of luck for that, but obviously we get the goal. Seems to have a liking for Brentford, does Joelinton. I think out of the four times he's played them in the past 2 years, he's managed to score like in three or four of them, even though it's counted as a Raya own goal. I'm giving it to Joelinton just because it's Joelinton and he's fucking class. But the second goal, amazing. I'll probably end up talking about VAR in a minute with the Wilson one, but hey ho. Great bit of play. Like Wilson gets the ball, hold of play. He was excellent in this half, by the way. It was like West Ham away and Brentford away. It's just been old vintage Callum Wilson, fucking brilliant. Um, Drives the ball forward, um, plays it into Isak, and first time, beautiful goal, man. Like I've if you have, well, you of course you've seen it. Do us a favour, go and watch it again. It's fucking great, isn't it? Like it was just class, mental. First time, just curled in the top corner, like now tomorrow. Like it's just it's fucking class. It's what it is. Like you see the goal on midweek he scored past West Ham where he's standing with his hands on his hips, and then you've got you've just got him curling the ball in from the like in the top corner from 20 yards, and then at Forest he's doing like he's moving his body like a scorpion to volley it in the net, and he's class. It's fucking class. It's what it is. Like you see the goal on midweek he scored past West Ham where he's standing with his hands on his hips, and then you've got you've just got him curling the ball in from the like in the top corner from 20 yards, and then at Forest he's doing like he's moving his body like a scorpion to volley it in the net, and he's class. He's just unbelievable. Like Alexander Isak, absolutely crazy. Like 63 million, absolute snippet. um, could you imagine if we had this lad all season? Like fuck me, we could have been in a title race, lads. Like we could have been if we had Isak all season. We could have been talking about a title race. He's just different level. Like he's just unbelievable. Like obviously we've had strikers along the years, like under Ashley and stuff like that. Since Shearer retired, we've had a good couple of strikers here and there. Andy Carroll in his first stint, like Demba Ba, like Remy, Papi Cisse. We've had these strikers that are like Solomon Rondon, that are like good. They're a good level, you know what I mean. But you watch Isak and how he links up play and his skill with the ball. It's just like it's fucking wow. It's insane. It's just he's just a master technician. It like with the ball. He's skillful. He's clinical. He's just everything that you'd want in a centre forward. And I know people are talking about like it's mad even talking about anything close to a comparison, but like they talk about how good Haaland is and stuff, but Isak, like, what a fucking player! Like, I'm not comparing the two before people go whoa, 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 but like Isak has the potential to reach them levels. I think that's fair to say. He's got the potential to reach a Haaland level striker with the right coaching and stuff like that, because he's so technically gifted, and he's an eye for goal, and he's got that drive to get forward like the top players do, where it's just a drive and a will to win. And I've seen nothing like him. Like the players I mentioned before were very good for Newcastle, like in their stints as the strikers. But you look at Isak and it's just a different level. I suppose you get what you pay for in many ways, but just just fucking brilliant, brilliant striker. And hopefully the team's built around him, Bruno and Botman. As the song goes, Botman at the back, Isaac in attack. Hopefully Newcastle win the Premier League with Bruno in the middle. But yeah, like there's the future spine of this team. Like you've got to build around that. But Eddie Howe probably knows that anyway. What about now? But obviously we'll see the game out. It gets a bit tense towards the end. It was obviously Brentford are trying to get a goal, but it's the first game they've lost at home since September, I think, where they lost to Arsenal. So only Arsenal and Newcastle managed to beat them at Brentford, and it's like we seem to be the record breakers at the minute. Like Ivan Toney had a penalty run, broke that. Brentford had a good home run, broke that. But like we just seem to be winning against all odds. But we had a third goal ruled out, obviously because of VAR being absolutely fucking shit. Hits his shoulder. And I think the referees early on the season says, look, if it hits, like if the ball's hitting where the short sleeve at the top ends, if it hits after that time ball, but it just didn't, and like insane. it's a goal, and it's been chalked off for fuck all basically. Again, it comes down to VAR and how bad VAR's been, but until the serious repercussions or changes are made, it's going to be a problem, and it has been a problem all fucking season, and you know that. But just before the game ended, I seen that Gordon, who was a half-time substitute, and I thought he did well in the second half, obviously came off for the last 20 seconds. I think they just drained the clock, but he he didn't look too pleased, and the players have always said the biggest insult you can get from the manager is being subbed on and subbed off in the same game. But Gordon didn't react too well to it. But in all honesty, I don't see much in it. Like I know there's fans saying it's disrespectful and stuff, but I think that they're showing that he cares, and how well he did play. He's probably really disappointed to go off. They obviously shrugged off Eddie Howe, but I think it's just one of them that'll be handled internally. They've probably signed him knowing he can be a bit of a hothead and stuff like that. So not really worrying to me, to be honest. I think Gordon will be at his best in a couple of weeks. So obviously, when we're saying big players for big money, Howe always has this period where he brings them in slowly into the team and stuff like that. And I think that's what Gordon's going through at the moment. Isak went through it, Bruno went through it, even Botman at the start of the season wasn't starting games, which you look at now how good he's been, insane. But yeah, these all these players get slowly brought in. So yeah, but I'm gonna wrap up the video. Obviously, 5 wins in a row, fucking brilliant. Keep marching on towards top four, because that seems to be the battle that we're in now. It's the games are getting tight and the games are getting a bit squeaky, but yeah, we'll keep marching on. Have every faith in this team. But get your comments in. Let us know how you feel about VAR. Let us know who your man of the match was. I'm gonna say my man of the match was Isak, because in the second half he just totally put the game on its head. As well, I think Trippier played well. I thought Trippier was outstanding. Um, and I thought Joe Linton was really good as well. Because even when we were playing poor in the first half, he still had a bit of grit about him. And I like that. So yeah, they're my man of the matches. Let us know yours, and obviously what you think of VAR as well. But 5 in a row. Villa next week, tough one, but we'll have preview and review on the channel for that one. And if there's any other videos that you want to see as well, let us know, and we'll start looking at that as well. Because obviously we want to look at things at the end of the season and see what we can add, see what we can take away and stuff like that. So your feedback on that is much appreciated as well. But I've babbled on long enough. If you're still with us, cheers. But I'll love yous and leave us for now, and catch us on the next Magpie 24/7 video. Drop a like, leave a subscribe if you would like to see more. And yeah, catch us later, everyone. See you later.